Hello, my dear friends. I received 10 questions about the stick dance in Egypt from a very close friend of mine. And I found that the answers are very important to share all of them with you. So, for this reason, I decided to create this video to share it with you too. These questions was because I created last year or close to last year a video talking about the stick dance in Egypt, and I create this video for my students here in Egypt. But there are some points are hidden or our friends didn't understand it right well. For this reason, she sent me these 10 questions. So let's go now and see the answers. The first question was, where stick dance come from? Actually, if we look at the Egyptian map or Egypt's map, you will find that Alexandria, North Egypt, then Delta, then Upper Egypt, and both sides deserts. But in these deserts, there are some cities, yes, also. All over Egypt, we have a stick dance, but it changes. It depends on the geographical area and, of course, also the society, the people who live in this area. For example, in Alexandria, they have stick dance. Delta, they have stick dance. Cairo have stick dance. Upper Egypt have stick dance. Both sides have also stick dance. And also I forgot to tell you, also in Sinai Peninsula, they have also a type of stick dance. All of these areas, actually, they have these different types. Depends on the long or the length of the stick and the type, the stick, the people they are using for. So for this reason, we have a lot of different types of stick dance all over Egypt. The one you know exactly, this is the stick dance you know exactly, or you saw exactly it, or it came from Upper Egypt. So this is the answer for the question number 1. The question number 2. Where is the Nile Valley? We can say something like that. Where is the Nile Valley? Look, in both sides of the Nile River, there are a lot of cities. And of course, a lot of people they live in. The Nile Valley, close to Upper Egypt, not in North Egypt, but in Upper Egypt. I'm not talking about the Nile Valley as it is actually, but I'm talking about the stick dance which coming from this area or the other area or so on or so on. What I need actually that to understand right well the type of a stick dance in front of you, you have to understand the type of dance depends on the stick or depends on the area which the stick dance coming from. The question number 3. Luxor and Aswan are famous for stick dance too? Of course, yes, of course. In Luxor and Aswan, they have their own type of stick dance which belongs to all Upper Egypt. Upper Egypt, by the way, when I say Upper Egypt, it is not very far or something like that, but it is long distance, it's long area. Upper Egypt, far from Cairo, around 45 kilometers far from Cairo, starting from Bani Suef, there until Aswan, or little bit after Aswan, yes, also. So this is exactly the area people are play with the stick and dancing with the stick too. Step by step, I will explain to you through the questions, yes. So in Luxor and Aswan, they have also stick dance and they have also Tahtib game, which is much more famous than a stick dance. Why? I will tell you, but step by step. The question number 4. Is the Tahtib practiced all over Egypt? Of course, yes. Tahtib Tahtib game. By the way, there is no Tahtib dance, but Tahtib, it is a type of folk game. People all over Egypt, they are do it or they are play it. But it changed from place to place. For example, in Delta they have Tahtib game, yes, also this folk game they have it also in Delta, also in Alexandria, and of course in Upper Egypt, in both sides. But in the let me say the left side of Egypt, in El Fayoum and the cities around El Fayoum or the villages around El Fayoum, they are famous for Tahtib game, yes, also. So Tahtib, it is a type of game. Most of the Egyptian they play it, but in Cairo we haven't this type of Tahtib game or this type of folk game in Cairo. It is in Alexandria, Delta, Upper Egypt, El Fayoum, the villages and the cities around El Fayoum, also in the other side of Egypt. I mean in the east side of Egypt, but not in Sinai Peninsula. They haven't Tahtib game. Then the question number 5. Is this because Saidi going all over the all over Egypt? What is the meaning of Saidi, by the way? Saidi, that means Upper Egyptian. The difference between Said, Upper Egypt, and Delta is in Upper Egypt, both of them, or let me say both of them, they are farmers. Both of them, they are working in a farm. So that means they are farmers, as I told you. But the difference between both of them, that in Upper Egypt, we say Upper Egyptian, but we didn't say Delta Egyptian, we say farmers for the Delta people who are live in North Egypt. Until Alexandria. Alexandrians, this is, or these people, they are, once more again, we say Alexandrians, but we didn't say Deltas or Delta people. We say farmers about them. But from Delta until Upper Egypt, all this area, they are farmers, except in Cairo. Cairo is the capital. Alexandria was a capital since long time, yes, also, but this is the second capital, as we say. So, Upper Egypt, that means, or Upper Egyptian, that means Saidi. Upper Egyptians, Saidi people. This is exactly the meaning or the term why we say something like that. Of course, anyone of Egypt can go to any place or any city all over Egypt, no problem in this. But of course, the Upper Egyptian, they traveling everywhere all over Egypt, same exactly as the Delta people, Cairo or Alexandrian people, and also people who are or live in Sinai Peninsula. So we are traveling everywhere. But I know what is the meaning behind this question, which it means why exactly that these people, or how this type of a stick dance immigrate or went or came to all of these areas. Step by step, I will explain to you. Yes, also, this is another main point, very important point. Is this because Saidi? Yes, this is number 5. Number 6. Is there different rules? Is there a different rules between Upper Egypt and Delta in Tahtib or dance? Now I will start to explain much more. Of course, there is a big difference between the Tahtib game in Delta and Upper Egypt. It is, or these rules, the people, they created since long time just to create a new way to let people much more happy when they see the players when they play. By the way, now I have to tell you, the first place we discovered Tahtib game, it was, or it is, near to Cairo, but from the left side of Egypt, little bit close to the desert in this area. It is near to a place we call it Saqqara, near to Saqqara, Abu Sir area or Abu Sir city. In this city, the first time we discovered this Tahtib game was in this area. It is not far from Cairo, around maybe 1 hour we can be there. If some of you visited Egypt and went to Pyramid Street, or and then from Pyramid Street went to the pyramids, or visited the pyramids from Giza to Pyramid Street, then to my house, then to the pyramids. Of course, this area not far from Saqqara. Saqqara left side of this area. So in this area over there, there are another city called Abu Sir, and this Abu Sir have this type of Tahtib game we discovered in the beginning. Then we found it after that all over Egypt. I mean discovered it from the ancient Egyptians, because ancient Egyptians, they created this type of game since long time, over 5,000 years ago, or maybe much more, as most of you know, actually, not 4,000 years ago or something like that. It is much more. Anyway, this game we created here in Egypt, I mean the ancient Egyptians, they created and they played because of something step by step I will tell you about. So, we come back again to the rules. Yes, actually in Delta the rules are not the same as in Upper Egypt, and also in El Fayoum, the area around El Fayoum, another type of rules. In Alexandria, something very nice, they play this type of game, but with all of these rules in the beginning, the two players, they has to tell the judge that they will play this type of rules, or through this they play through this type of rules, which it is Delta rules or Upper Egypt rules, or El Fayoum, yes also El Fayoum rules, something like that. So they has to choose the rules they will play with or they play in, and then they start their game. The rules, it is about which part of the body I have to touch my when I play with my player, or the player in front of me, which part in the body I will touch and I will take the point. This is exactly the rules. For example, in Upper Egypt, it is forbidden to touch the face or to touch the area, any part of the area up. But in Delta, you can touch it. Touch it means exactly they are not fighting, by the way, but they just only to play, to touch, or to see that, or to say that I can touch this area, or touch this area, or something like that. It is something like that, not fight, as the meaning of fight. Because this game actually was not a game in the beginning. Through the history, or in the beginning of the history, was not a game. This type of stake, ancient Egyptians, they used it as a weapon tool in the beginning. Step by step, I will tell you yes also. But anyway, after that, it became a type of play. People or soldiers, they practice on it to see exactly how they can fight with, or use it in their battle or in their fight. It was something like that, and step by step changed it and became a game, but game to prepare yourself how you fight with it or use it, and also how to practice with it, and how you can taking care of your body when the enemy in front of you, or something like this. So this is the question number 6. The question number 7 about, yes, Ghawazi Saidi or Saidi Ghawazi. What is the meaning of, or why we, is it right if we say Ghawazi Saidi or Saidi Ghawazi? This is language. Saidi Ghawazi. Both are okay anyway. We or you can use both terms. Ghawazi Saidi, Saidi Ghawazi. In Arabic language, we can use both, but Ghawazi Saidi is much more better or right or correct than Saidi Ghawazi. But both terms are right. No problem in this. If you say any one of them in front of me or in front of anyone in Egypt, they will understand you immediately. Even me as an Egyptian, if I say it, they will understand me crystal clear. No problem in this. But why Ghawazi Saidi or Saidi Ghawazi? Because the famous stick dance coming from Upper Egypt. Why? Again, another question will coming after a while. So this led exactly the Saidi Ghawazi are much more famous in this type of dance more than Delta Ghawazi. I will tell you why. I will tell you why. The question number 8. Why we call it Ghawazi Saidi instead of stick dance? Actually, I have to tell you something very bad. Because we were the beginners who used this term. I mean, Hoda and I. We started in the beginning. Why? Because we found after, or let me say, after I made a lot of researches about this type of dance, I found that this type of dance belongs much more Ghawazi in Upper Egypt. In Upper Egypt, it is forbidden for any girl or woman dancing in front of the foreigners. This is very important. You have to keep in mind this point. What you see over there, it is not type, I mean from men, it is not type of dance, but it is type of game. And because the fatness is the most important point, the player use it through their movements they do inside their play. So many people thought that it is type of dance, but of course it is not. Dancing or sport using all the time this type of fitness, what I say it, and all of us, you know it actually. So for this reason, you think, or a lot of Egyptians also thought, also thought that it is type of dance, but it is not. It is a game. The females who allowed to dance over there in Upper Egypt, the Ghawazi, and of course the gypsy, if some gypsy visited them or visiting them or something like this, it's okay. But for women, it is prohibited. It is not allowed for any woman can dance in front of foreigners, which it means I am a foreigner. I'm coming from Cairo, or if I'm coming from Delta, or if I'm coming from any different city in Egypt except Upper Egypt. That means I am a foreigner. So for this reason, it is not allowed for women to dance in front of me over there. This is number one. Number two, the one or the class or the category in the society over there who allowed to dance in front of foreigners, or they are the Ghawazi, as I told you. The Ghawazi, they used this stick dance and they dance it with this, or by this stick dance as a dance tool. They used it like that. And of course, gypsy, as I told you also. From this point, actually, you can find that the stick dance, if we say stick dance belongs to women in Upper Egypt, if we see something like this, so who danced with this type of, or who danced with this tool? Of course, Ghawazi. For this reason, they are famous to do something like this. They are famous for the foreigners and for the Egyptian, yes, also. So for this reason, we say, or I have to say that Ghawazi stick Ghawazi of Upper Egypt. By the way, women, they can dance inside their houses, but together, females only females. They dancing inside their houses, not outside. It is forbidden, yes, also. If someone break this rule, they kill her immediately. It is like that. This is Upper Egypt. Vendetta. For example, it will be something looks like vendetta, as they say that, or as they say it in Italy. Because someone look at her or she did something wrong, So immediately it will be something like that. So this is exactly the rules over there, and for this reason the stick dance belongs to Ghawazi much more than Gypsy, by the way, because Gypsy, they are not live inside cities, they live outside cities, so they are not most of the time they are not appear most of the time inside cities, but Ghawazi, they live inside. For this reason, yes, also you have to know that there is a big difference between Ghawazi and Gypsy, because Ghawazi, they allowed to live inside cities, and Gypsy, they live outside cities. If someone told you that they are both one family or one tribe, no. Gypsy live outside, Ghawazi, they live inside. It is completely different way of or lifestyle. So the stick dance over there, you can say stick dance, which it means actually that all over Egypt, the stick dance, all over Egypt. But when I say Ghawazi dance or Ghawazi stick, as Ghawazi Saidi, it means exactly that this type of people who are coming from Upper Egypt, Saidi, Upper Egyptian, Ghawazi from Upper Egypt. As I told you, we have another type of Ghawazi, or another family, not type, another family of Ghawazi. They are live in Delta, and by the way, they dancing also with a stick. By the way, huh? But the steps little bit difference, so we know it as Egyptian, we know it, and immediately when I see someone coming from Delta dancing with the, or someone dancing from them dancing with a stick, immediately I will recognize that she is coming from Delta. But if she do another type of steps, immediately I will know that where are these steps coming from, Upper Egypt or something like that. The question number 9. Why I said Raqset El Asaya. Raqset El Asaya, which it means stick dance. I can say Raqset El Asaya onto the Upper Egyptians stick dance, or Delta stick dance, or El Fayoum stick dance, or and so on and so on. It is like that. So this is Raqset El Asaya. But if I wanted to be much more concentrating with the type of dance, I mean a stick dance, I have to say stick dance from Upper Egypt, stick dance from Delta, stick dance from El Fayoum, Raqset El Asaya from Raqset El Asaya من El Fayoum, stick dance from El Fayoum, Raqset El Asaya from Delta, the stick dance from Delta, and so on and so on. It is like that. So this is Raqset El Asaya. Egypt is famous for Raqset El Asaya, of course, or a stick dance, of course, because of the question number 10. The question number 10, it is about Reda Troop and about Mahmoud Reda. Mahmoud Reda, he created a choreography for 2 dancers. She said that without Asaya. What does it mean? Can we say Saidi dance? Is it right? This is because if you understand exactly the steps where it is come from, where they are coming from, then you will understand exactly what type of term we can say or we can mention this type of dance. 99% of Mahmoud Reda's choreography about the stick dance or Raqset El Asaya, it belongs to him because he was one of the first founders or dancers, or I'm sorry, choreographers, teachers who created this type of dance, imitating people in Upper Egypt. This is now another point, very important point. He saw the players in Upper Egypt. He said that, by the way. He explained this, by the way. He saw the people who are in Upper Egypt dancing with this stick dance and, with this sticks, and they played, I made a mistake maybe. He saw the players when they play in the court with this type of stick, over there, and he loved it very much. He started to act with it very much. For this reason, he created his type of stick dance. This is very important point. Now, then this type of stick dance became famous all over Egypt. Then after that became famous all over the world. So, as I told you that when Mahmoud Reda, long ago, I think it was 1959 or something like this, or 1960, he traveled to Upper Egypt with the Reda troop, and he watched Ghawazi over there and the players, the Tahtib players, and in the end, he created this type of dance as you know it. Later, Mahmoud Reda created another choreography with the girls, just only with the girls, and they did wonderful, or a type of dance he created, yes, actually. So we can call it as our friend, she asked it, we can call it Saidi dance. Yes, okay, Saidi dance. If he changed it a little bit to make it much more softer or something like this, it will be changing completely, and it will be from Delta. What? What does it mean? That means exactly, or this is the meaning exactly coming in your mind. In Upper Egypt, they are dancing with much more stronger. But in Delta, the dancers, they are more soft. So this is the difference also between the Ghawazi in Delta and the Ghawazi in Upper Egypt when they're going to dance. In Upper Egypt, they are dancing with much more nerve. You feel it looks like nervous little bit or stronger little bit. Let me see something like this. But in Delta, they are much more soft. And this is, by the way, also people in Delta, they are much more soft, or they are softer than much more soft than the people in Upper Egypt. By the way, I'm not talking that these people are better than the others or vice versa. All of them, they are wonderful. I love them very much. And all of us, we are Egyptian. We live together. We love each other's. No problem in this. But this is just to let you understand the difference between the dance steps of North Egypt and Upper Egypt. Now, I have to tell you something about the stick dance, or the stick, actually. As I told you, the ancient Egyptians, they created this type of game in the beginning as because of the war or because of the battle. It was like that, because they used it actually exactly in the beginning. Then it started to be a weapon tool beside also the spears and arrows. And daggers. And by the way, as most of you know, daggers were very important, and the swords also. We have swords, yes, also. But daggers were very famous in this time long ago. The most important dagger, which is very famous, which belongs to Tutankhamun's dagger, which the material of this dagger coming from outer space. This is very important point I love to share with you. Yes, also, I think most of you know it. Daggers was famous long ago in Egypt as a weapon, type of weapon or tool. They used it, yes, also. Also, the arrows, sometimes they were using the arrows as a stick to protect their bodies, or to protect them against the enemies or something like that. But it was not the most important tool or army tool or weapon tool in this time. It was before this time, long ago, very early in the history. And then the other weapons started to appear, and they used them much more than the stick. But the stick was with the weapon tools, yes, also. So this is exactly the story about the stick dance. And one last point, if I can be much more specified with this. Even in Cairo, we have a type of a stick dance or types of stick dance, like Awalim, they are dancing with the stick dance, but the stick dance in Cairo, it is bending from one side, because this type of dance, or baladi, let me say baladi first. The baladi dancers, they can use this type of stick dance bending from one side. It is a walking stick. As you know, we call it walking stick. So they use it, yes, also in their dance. Because a lot of main points, maybe one day we can sit together, or you can be with us in one of our classes, and you can see, and I explain to you much more about it, why something like this. But in Upper Egypt, the straightforward one belongs to the Upper Egyptian, so they are dancing with this type of stick. Over there, I mean the Ghawazi, as I told you. In Delta, they can use both. They can use both sticks, the one bending from one side and also the straightforward one. But if the Ghawazi dancing, they are using the straightforward one. But in Delta, in Baladi dance in Delta, they are using the bending one. The difference between the stick dance of people in Delta or in Upper Egypt and Gypsy, that the stick of Gypsy, it is a thin one, the thin one, not bending from one side or so, the straightforward but thin one. This is the stick belongs to Gypsy. In Delta also there are another type of a stick which is around maybe 30 or no, around maybe 40 centimeters long length, which it is belongs another type of dance. In Sinai Peninsula, it is there are another type of a stick. They are use it over there and dancing with it. See, it is another type. And this stick over there, they are use it. It is what they are use it. It is around maybe also 40 centimeter or something like this length. Yes, also not the longest one. In left side of Egypt, El Fayoum and the area around El Fayoum, the same stick they are use it in Upper Egypt. Their type of dance over there, they are using this type of a stick. But close or inside desert, over there in the left side of Egypt, in the oasis over there, especially in El Bawiti oasis or Bahariya oasis. Let me say Bawiti village or Bahariya oasis. They are using another type of a stick, which with length. It is much more longer than the other sticks, which sometimes can be around 2 meters. And sometimes 2 meters and a half, 2 meters and a half longer than in the one in Upper Egypt and the other types of sticks. So this is another type of their dance over there, and they are using this type of a stick over there. So the stick now changing depends on, as I told you, the geographical area, the society, the climate, yes, also, and the people who are using for. So this is very important to understand the different type of sticks and the different type of stick dance all over Egypt. So this is, let me say, this was exactly my video for today with you, and I hope you like it. And if you found it useful for you, please share it with your friends. And thank you very much for your time spent with me. And of course, I will be waiting for you in the next video. Thank you very much, and see you in the next video.